feel your boundless grace. We ask that you bless us with knowledge and understanding as we study our lessons for today. Help us, dear Lord, to be obedient to our teachers and to be caring and respectful to our classmates. Be with us, inspire us, and lead us to be more like you. May our doings for today bring honor and glory. In the name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Hi guys, this is our lesson number 5 that is entitled Blogging or Self-Published Stories Online. And without further ado, let's start this video lesson with knowing the story behind the term blog. In 2004, Merriam-Webster Dictionary selected the word blog as their word of the year, which started appearing in its printed version the next year. And here is how Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it. Blog is a noun which is short for the term weblog, which is then in turn created way back in 1999. A blog is a website that contains an online personal journal with reflections, comments, and often hyperlinks provided by the writer. Justin Hall was not even yet a blogger when he started blogging, because the word blog was not yet actually formed as such, and Hall was credited in creating the first personal blog at http://www.links.net, which went online on January 23, 1994, when Hall was still a 19-year-old student at Swarthmore College. It was actually initially called a personal homepage, and as such, Justin Hall was the first web diarist and blogger. Now, the US-based research agency Pew Internet and American Life has estimated that there is a new blog for every 5.8 seconds every single day. And the year before Hall created his blog, there was only 23 weblogs on the internet. In 1999, there were tens of thousands of it. Now, sometime in the middle of 1999, a then American blogger named Peter Merholz decided to play with words. And computer programmer and online writer, he considers himself a longtime lover of words. And as he said that, I was one of those kids who would run to dictionaries to look up words I didn't know. Etymologies were particularly fun. What were the components of a word and how that word come to be? So we can say that Peter Merholz really loves words, and maybe that in turn influenced his career as a blogger. Now, in that spirit of fun, Merholz posted in the sidebar of his homepage that I've decided to pronounce the word weblog as we blog or blog for short. So Peter Merholz is the proprietor for the pronunciation of the term weblog. Okay, so we are enunciating this term as weblog because Peter Merholz is the first one who used it and everybody else just followed on it. Okay, now Merholz thought that he was just being silly, but started using the word in his post as did the people who emailed him. So 3 months later, on August 1999, http://www.blogger.com was unveiled as a free online weblog publishing tool. So this is the first free online weblog publishing tool, and I'm not quite sure if this is still ongoing right now, but there's a ton of free online blog publishing tool as of the moment, and one of those are Wix.com, and also there's a lot of it. Okay, if you just go into search it on Google or the internet, then you will really find a ton of it. Now, Merholz wrote in his blog, which is http://archive/00000205.html that, and with that, the use of blog grew with the tool's success. Now let's go back to what Justin Hall said, an American journalist and entrepreneur best known as a pioneer blogger. On a conference way back in 1995 and 1996, he said that if everyone was to tell their stories on the web, we would have an endless human storybook with alternating perspectives, which means that for Justin Hall, the thing that you need to write on your blogs are about your own life stories, your own experiences, your thoughts, your emotions, the happenings and events in your life. Okay? And by sharing those things, those thoughts, those moments in the internet, it in turn makes the internet somewhat weird on his perspective, somewhat or something that is not bland, something that is not boring. Okay, because that is what his perspective on the internet way before he started blogging. And after blogging and after he started to share his life and other people do so, then for him the internet started to have this kind of colors where there was this culture wherein a lot of people are sharing ideas, a lot of people are sharing their thoughts, their emotions, their activities, and so on and so forth. In turn, blog made the internet much more better place for us to use or waste our time. Okay, so yeah, a blog is there for us to share our stories, and we should do it. We should definitely try making our own blogs. If ever that you have this special moment in your life or this thoughts that is lingering in your mind, then the blog can really help you, okay, on sharing those thoughts, sharing those moments, sharing those emotions to other people in the internet. Next, Justin Hall also said that the best content comes from people who love what they are doing. So I know that some of you never really want to share their life stories, and some of you are not that good at writing. However, just think of it as this way, okay? Time will come that you really need to talk to other people, to reach out to other people, okay? And the best way for you to practice is this one. If you can write some things, or if you can start to sharing things about yourself to other people, then that is a good start actually of you opening up to other persons, okay, which you can use in the future, especially in the times that you're going to college, and also at the time when you're trying to apply for a job wherein you really need to talk to a lot of people. Okay, so this is a training ground not just for you to learn how to write literary compositions, but also to open up to other people about your life's secrets, your own thoughts, your own reasoning, and your own perspectives on things. Okay? Next, Rebecca Blood, another earlier blogger which also started way back in 1999, discovered the two unexpected side effects of blogging. First, she discovered her own interests. She thought that she knew what she was already interested in, but after linking stories for a few months, she could see that she was much more interested in science, technology, and issues of injustice than she had ever realized. And more importantly, she began to value more highly her own point of view, and she also began to feel that her perspective was unique and important. Now, her website, Rebecca's Pocket, which you can find at http://www.rebeccablood.net/about-it/ introduces herself as someone devoted to whatever catches her attention. And in 2001, Perseus Publishing caught her attention. She agreed to write the WeBlog Handbook, a practical advice on creating and maintaining your blog, which was published next year, which is in 2002. And based on this handbook, here is how you can unblock your writer's block. The first thing that you can do on unblocking your writer's block This is, a pun for writer's block, okay? So the first thing that you can do is to blog daily. Writing down whatever comes to your mind gives you the opportunity to face your own thoughts and opinions, okay? Blogging every day increases your confidence in your writing self. When readers read your blog and express their opinions, you become more confident about your own. And you start to trust your own perspective about the world. So just like the saying that practice makes it perfect, for you to be able to become much more open to your readers as a blogger, you need to blog daily. Okay, I know that this is kind of hard for you guys, but this is the very first thing that you can do. Blog daily, or blog as much as you can. Okay, as frequent as you can. Second tip is to know for whom you are writing. The second tip is to know for whom we are writing, or you are writing. Now, we all have our own way of talking to our friends, right? And we also have our own way of talking to strangers. And most of the people who will read your blog are probably strangers to you, since this is the internet and a lot of people have access to it, okay? Now, you want to reach out to those individuals. You want to reach out for those strangers. But who are they? Knowing who they are gives you the opportunity to develop your unique writing self, your tone, and your voice. So we all know that we have this different tone and voices in writing depending on our target readers, right? So if you're going to, for example, create a literary piece for your mother, then your tone and writing will definitely show respect to your parents, right? And it will definitely be more well toned towards your parents. However, if your literary composition will be targeting those in the government whom you really dislike, then the tone of your literary composition will be in turn much more harsh, since you don't want them, right? So that is the idea of this second tip. You need to know whom you are writing for. Whom do you want to write? Who are the readers that you really want your blogs to be read by? Do you want your readers as teenagers, or do you want your readers as professionals? And if you happen to know your target readers, then that is how you need to compose your words, your thoughts, and your emotions just for them and for you to create this connection. Okay? So we all know that having your interest will really make you hook to the story, right? And how can you hook up, or how can you create this emotional connection if your tone and your writing language is, not suitable for that certain type of audiences or that certain type of readers? Next tip, number 3, is choose your purpose. Blogs are tools to filter information, to create businesses, to share news, to introduce professional standing, to call for a social change. Establishing what you want to accomplish gives your writings a focus. This only means that you need to choose what you really want to do on blogging. What is your aim on your blog? Do you want to change the world? Or do you just want to share awareness, or to make awareness on some topics or matters at hand? Or is your blog aiming to help other people cope up on this pandemic, for example? Or is your blog just your way on sharing your own thoughts or ideas? So you need to have this clear purpose, so that your blogs or your stories will be inclined to that purpose of yours. Okay, so because after all, your blog should be created to reach that goal of yours, or that purpose of yours. Okay, so whatever your purpose is, your blogs or your posts on that blogs should be aimed on targeting that certain goal or purpose. Number 4, you need to blog about what you love. Love is a very strong feeling, and a blog where strong opinions are expressed will make your writings a heartfelt experience for you and your readers. So you really need to think about what you love, and that could be the focus or the purpose of your blog. If you love peace, then you can write or you can have that peace in your mind as the purpose of your blog, which in turn will have this effect on our tip number 3, which is choosing your own purpose or choosing your purpose on creating the blog. 5, you need to be credible. Of course, we all need to be credible. Be truthful. We need to speak about the real things using our own real voice. We need to avoid marketers' words, which are extravagant. We also need to avoid exaggerated adjectives. And we need to respect the readers and our fellow bloggers. Okay? We need to be credible. Remember that one. Number 6, this is also in correlation with the number 5 tip, which is being credible. The 6th tip is you need to link your sources. Okay, links are integral to the web. Okay, it is already there. It is a very vital part of the web. Now, they are also what makes a blog different from other forms of publishing, since you need to link your stories to other stories. Other blogs help your readers reach better and more informed opinions. So your blog, actually, since your blog is all about the things that you love, or your goal in life, or your goal in blogging, in turn, it will actually show your opinions about things, right? Now, the thing that you can do on helping your readers understand you better is if you could link your sources. Okay, if you could link, for example, a video, or if you could link other people's blogs about what you are trying to say or to speak, then that would actually really help making your blog better and letting your readers understand and choose what they really want to believe into. The 7th tip is you need to update regularly. Now, you don't have to update daily, but you need to post several times a week. You need to post something new as a way of inviting readers to come back to your site. But, sir, you said earlier in our first tip is you need to blog daily. Yes, you need to blog daily, but you don't need to update regularly. What am I trying to say here is this. Actually, you can write your own blog but not post it. Okay, writing a blog is different than updating your own blog. You can just write a blog and just save it as a draft and even post it later, or just save it as a draft and even forget about it. So what you need to do here is this. The first tip is trying to tell you to always create a blog every single day. Okay, no matter what your progress is, even if you have failed to complete a whole story or a whole post in a single day, that is good as long as you are trying or you are contributing to the completion of the story or to the literary piece or to the blog daily. Next, the 8th tip is you need to let it grow. You need to be patient. In time and with daily or regular updates, just like what I've said earlier, your readers will grow in number and regularly visit your site because they care about your words. So you really need to update and post if you can do it daily, then do it. Or if you can do it at least 4 times a week, please do. Because that will definitely help your blog site grow on your own. Because once there was this one reader who read your compositions and started to like it, then he or she could actually share this to other people. And then a chain reaction will actually occur. Now, how would those people gradually gather up? Or how would this crowd of readers or a flock of readers grow if you, as the writer, would stop writing and posting on your blog, right? That will in turn confuse those people who are starting to like your blog because you are not updating, particularly if you're not updating regularly. Okay, so having this schedule when you will update and when you will post something will actually help your readers to look to have something to look forward into. For example, you are always updating every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Having viewers or having someone or having this schedules of yours known to your readers will actually make them look forward to it, that hey, I think you already know what I'm trying to tell you. For example, you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, and you realize that this YouTube channel is actually updating their channel every week and posting a new video which you really like into. So having that knowledge in your mind will actually in turn make you excited every week, every single week, since you know that something or some new video is coming. And that in turn can be also used on blogging, right? So if your readers know that you are actually having this particular set of schedule that you are using on posting and updating your blog, then in turn they will be much more intrigued, much more happy, and much more excited about your blog. Next and last, the ninth tip is you need to practice. You need to target serendipity. You need to make your blog a gateway to unexpected and happy discoveries for readers. Okay? Your blog, yes, you need to target the goal that you have in your blog, but still, you need to make it enjoyable to the readers. Okay? Because if your literary compositions are not enjoyable, then the readers will not actually read it. Even if the composition have this great idea behind it, you have this great message behind it, if it is boring, then what's the source? What's the essence of it? Okay, none will read it as much as it would be read by those people who can see or who can look at it into something that is actually interesting. Okay, so you just need to use, or you just need to play with the words, and you can actually create a much more better literary piece just by using your own creativity. So those are the 9 tips on how to unblock your writer's blog. So once again, let's have a recall of it. You need to blog daily. Know for whom you are writing. You need to choose your purpose. You need to blog about what you love. You need to be credible. You need to link to your sources for other people to understand you much more better. You need to update regularly so that they have something to look forward into. You need to let it grow and just let those people come into your blogs. And 9, you need to practice, or you need to target serendipity. And that is how you can unblock your writer's blog based on the book written by Rebecca Blood. Now, we are very familiar on writing on paper, right? But what are actually the benefits of writing a blog? Blogs actually move our writing from paper to a new medium, which is the internet. These blogs are designed to be visited daily, like the news which we read or watch daily. That's why the first tip by Rebecca Blood is to blog daily. Now, here's an example of a blog site. This is actually Rebecca Blood's blog entitled Rebecca's Pocket. So you can see here, this is actually looks very outdated. You need to especially consider that this is created way back in 1999. And actually, from this date here, which is 2014, we can actually say, or we can actually see that she's been blogging for the past 15 years at least, right? So, this is actually good. So you can see here, this is a story that she created. Here is another story that she created. This is the date, which is 2013, another 2013, and another 2013. We have just different dates, particularly months and days there. So yeah, there's, this is an example or an overview of Rebecca's Pocket. Now let's move on to blogging here in the Philippines. So we've already discussed how blogging and how bloggers are on the States or in different parts of the world, but right now we are heading to the Philippines. Okay, so what is blogging here in the Philippines? As the social media capital of the world, it is no wonder why there are so many bloggers here in the Philippines. So most Filipino bloggers write about arts, business, culture, entertainment, food, politics, travel, and even technology. There's also an annual blog award event, which is the Bloggies, that recognizes the most notable Filipino bloggers in the country. And to get you started in setting up your own blog, here are some outstanding blogs in the country that you can inspire or that can inspire you and help you find your own niche on the blogosphere. So the first example that we have is this one. So this is the blog site named Our Awesome Planet. So this is actually a blog dedicated to food and travel. It actually provides reviews on food and restaurants and features tourist spots and attractions. So the man behind the awesome blog is Anton Diaz. He chronicles his family's culinary and travel adventures as a cherished family narrative and keepsake for his son. So the main reason why Anton Diaz created this blog or his purpose is to create a narrative or a family narrative on their travels as a family in Asia. Got it? So that is his motivation on creating this blog site, to have a narrative about the foods, about the restaurants, and about the tourist spots where they are having vacations. Next, this is something that is very familiar to me. It is Yugatech. So Yugatech is a leading technology news and reviews blog in the Philippines. It actually covers topics from software, hardware to gadgets, and even cars. So Yugatech was created way back in 2005 and by the blogger, entrepreneur, and event and media speaker Abe Olandres, also known as Yuga. So Yugatech actually even have a YouTube channel named, as Yugatech, of course, wherein they are reviewing different devices, particularly smartphones, and actually they are even reviewing laptops sometimes, cars, and just basically anything that have a connection with technology. The third example of blog sites here in the Philippines is this one, which is entitled or called When in Manila. So this is actually known for its feature stories about food, travel, entertainment, fashion, and all things related to lifestyle and leisure. It is created by Vince Golangco. When in Manila is actually now the biggest blog and online magazine in the Philippines. So me myself is not that quite familiar here in this blog site, but as far as I can see, this is actually something that would really help us readers. For example, here you can see here this is the trending tab, wherein if you're going to click it, it will actually redirect you to the trending happenings here in Manila, or actually not here, actually in Manila. And as what I've said earlier, this blog also focuses on the foods in Manila, the adventure or the places that you can go to Manila, the parties that is happening in Manila, the arts in Manila, style stuff and interest. So there is a lot of things that is happening on this blog site, and maybe the goal of this blog site is to promote Manila to the readers. Okay, so yeah, this is actually a very good site. So you can just retype this link for you to look into this blog site on your own. Okay, so once again we have this ourawesomeplanet.com, which is our awesome planet blog. We have this Yugatech, and we also have When in Manila. Now, on our group chat, I'm also going to give you an example of another blog sites that I have found in these past couple of days. I'm going to send the link on the group chat, okay? So be in touch there. And now remember that the modern world needs modern writers, and modern writers tend to go into blogging, okay? Into blogs. So that is where blogging will come into play. That is where the technology can be used. But remember also that as a writer, you are accountable on what you are posting. Okay, so everything that you will be posting in the internet can be used against you. So be mindful on what you are going to post. Now, for your performance task number 2, with your group mates, I want you to make your own blog site and then upload your literary compositions there. So from this past quarter and this past lessons, you already have made a lot of literary compositions, a lot of poems, a lot of short stories, and even a biography of your own or autobiography of your own. So I want you to create your own blog site together with your group mates and post your compositions there. Okay? So please refer to the student or the SDLP for the dates of your performance task number 2 on up to when this performance task will be available to you guys and when is the last date or the due date of this performance task. So that is our 5th lesson entitled blogging. I do hope that you learned a lot on this discussion, and this is our references. And yeah, credits once again. And I would like to thank you guys for watching till the end, and I do hope that you will be able to create a perfect blog for you and your group mates. Okay? Goodbye guys, and I'll see you on our next video lesson. Bye!